This is the Eclectic Discussion Podcast.
Only you will understand and appreciate what's about to happen. Now this goes out to my people representing
E, a smooth operator operating correctly.
Now this goes out to my people representing
eclectic relaxation.
Now this goes out to my people representing East Coast, West Coast, and worldwide. Rock grooves and make moves with all the mommies.
E,
You conceited bastard. Who rock grooves and make moves with all the mommies. Allow to introduce myself. You want the man. Rock grooves and make moves with all the mommies. You said I'm not to eat, you wanna make it burn.
Jaws Eats Jacques Cousteau will not be shown at this time in order that we may bring you the following special program devoted to bathroom humor.
Yo, thank you for listening, thank you for downloading, thank you for streaming. It's eclectic. 1982. After school, get home, Nickelodeon. You can't do that on television. Yo, show was great. I don't remember how I ran into it. I don't know how. I had to be flipping channels. I'm thinking it was the slime. I'm flipping channels because back then you would flip channels because you didn't know what was on and it was live. It was the whole thing. Had cable. But the show, it was a half an hour. It was on Nickelodeon. Came on every day. It's one of the cool things that we got from Canada. Thanks, Canada. Thanks, Chappie. So the show, it was like a kid show with teenagers, preteens. But it's crazy. So when the show comes on, it would start with these title cards, and it would seem like a show like you can't do it on television was preempting another show that was supposed to be on at this time. But it'd be bugged out because it'd be made up shows. So they'd be like, yo, it'd be like, you can't, it'd be like a hit and run on Sesame Street will not be shown at this time in order for us to bring you this. They had the A-Team makes a cup of coffee lasts 5 hours. Mr. Rogers, the neighborhood pusher, won't be seen today. The Dukes of Hazzard dress up in drag, and they had little pictures. Captain Kangaroo robs a bank. Conan the Librarian. Pac-Man eats General Hospital. Boy George without makeup will not be seen today.
Garbage of the rich and famous will not be seen in order that we may dump on you the following load of garbage.
Reading Rambo. The Fat Boys Eat New York. Look, it was wild. So they would do that, and then the title, the intro would start, and then they get it popping. So they would have sketches, different sketches. Anyone who's seen the show will know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen the show, then after you're done with this, I don't even know if they're on YouTube. They might be on YouTube. But see if you can check them out. They had, of course, Barf Burgers. I used to think it was Barf, but he would always, the kids would go and hang out at Barf Burgers, and they would always ask what was in the burgers, and he wouldn't tell them, or he'd tell them and then they'd throw up, or they bite into the burgers and throw. They always had buckets, and then sometimes he'd take the bucket after they threw it. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna add this to the menu. And he always worried about the health inspector coming.
Hey Bart, did you know that a person coming in here has a 75% chance of getting food poisoning?
Yeah, I know. Not a very good record, is it?
It's pathetic. What do you intend to do about it?
Raise it to 100% by adding more food poison to my burger, mister. Trouble is, though, the price of food poison has shot up lately. Oh, hey, come here. Let's see how this tastes.
So that was funny. They had broth. The thing about this show is it was only 2 adults the entire show. So the one guy, he played every guy. He played the parents, he played Barth, he played every male. Then the other woman, she it was just them 2.
Did you see that hair? It was Snow White. Ross, you do color your hair.
That was not my hair.
Oh, come on, Ross. It was so.
It was not my hair. This is my virile young hair. That is Les Lie's hair.
Whose hair?
Les Lie's the actor that plays me.
You mean you're not real?
Yes, I'm real. I'm a character. And he's the actor that plays me. And Barth, and Mr. Schindler, the teacher, and the principal, and the dungeon master, and Blip, and the coach. In fact, every mature gentleman who has ever appeared on the program.
So they had Ross, the producer, or he was the director of the show. So because they knew they were on the show, so they would, talk like they're on the show. El Capitano, he had a fire. So it was a firing squad, and they would tie one of the kids up to the post, and he'd get ready to execute him. And so, for whatever they did something at school or did something. And so he'd say, ready, aim, and then the kid would always say, stop the execution. And El Capitano would ask, why or what? and the kid would try to trick him into walking in front of him and saying, fire.
Ready, aim.
Wait a minute.
They always cut away before he gets shot, or not. Sometimes they show
Fire!
Then they had locker jokes, and they would all be inside lockers, and one of the kids would stick their head out and call somebody's name, and then they would stick their head out and they'd tell a joke, and then they'll joke and close the lockers. Jokes was mostly corny, but that was a thing.
Oh, Rekka,
Yeah, Doug?
do you take out garbage?
Yeah, I do, Doug, sometimes. But don't get your hopes up. I wouldn't go out with garbage like you.
Yeah, Vanessa.
Do you know that me and my brother, who's a jerk, share the job of taking out the garbage?
Oh, really?
Yes, 1 week he makes me do it, and the next week I have to make myself.
Hey, Christine.
Yeah, Alistair.
Do you still have to take out the garbage?
No, I think I'm a little too old for that.
Well, so how old does a kid have to get before he's old enough not to take out garbage?
Old enough to have a kid brother or sister to do it for them.
Well, but I'm the youngest in my family. How old do I have to be?
Old enough to have your own kids to do it for you.
The opposites, they have opposite day, or a segment like screen would like go opposite or backwards of what it would normally do, and that would start the opposite segment. So the kids would be the boss, and the parents, or the parents who act like kids in a sketch, or the parents or the teachers would tell the student to do wrong things or bad things. Like, nah, you should go run in traffic.
Young lady, what are you doing? Just because you live in this house, dear, and you eat 4 good meals a day, and we buy your clothes and give you money, does not mean you have the right to help out.
It is not expected, Vanessa. Now, let your mother and me look after these chores, and you go up to your room and listen to your stereo.
And for heaven's sakes, young lady, don't tidy your room. I'll look after that when I get finished with this. No buts!
Oh, that's not fair.
Or they get hit with slime if they say, I know. El Capitano gets shot, and then at some point during the show, they'd say, back to reality, and then they'll switch back. Then they had fake commercials. Blip's Arcade, back when there were arcades. Blip would figure out ways to cheat people out of their money, and when they come to play the games, and he'd be like, sometimes it's so easy. It's just funny. The dungeon, I don't remember the dungeon name of the guy. He was like the warden or someone, but it'd be a kid shackled up, and the warden would try and make the kid think he was about to go free.
Good news, Alistair. You're getting out of here.
All right, blue skies, Barbie burgers,
And
girls.
then the warden would just make the punishment worse. He'd give him all kind of hope. You know, the kid would be like, why is in the dungeon? And the guy says, because you've been saying, what was it? He said you were saying hell and rude words. And then he said, I'm not saying bad words. That's the name of the associate producer. And the associate producer name was Helen Rude. It was a lot of fourth wall. It was a funny show. The classroom with the teacher, I forget the teacher's name, but the teacher was hilarious. He'd always complain, where did they find the kids?
Where does the school board find them? Why do they keep saving them from me?
Then the slime, of course the slime. If someone said, I don't know, at any time during the show, the slime dropped from the sky onto their heads.
Hi, and welcome to You Can't Do That on Television, the movie. Don't ask me what it's about, because I... Excuse me. Can we make a small line change here?
No, Christine, it's got to be done exactly as it's written.
No, it's just that...
No. Look, you want to be in the movies?
Yes, of course I do.
Then read the lines.
Hi, and welcome to You Can't Do That on Television, the movie. Don't ask me what it's about, because I don't know.
And they tried their best not to say, I don't know. If they said we don't know, everybody got slime. And then they were trying to find the slime recipe. And supposedly it was water, green jello, cream of wheat, and baby shampoo. But they said originally it was really rotten food. It was really like bad shit. And then everyone started getting sick, and it was like really rotten food with like water and green coloring. And then it was cottage cheese with green food coloring, but it would just be sitting there under the studio lights, cottage cheese sitting out under the studio lights, and then they dump it on. It was not a great time for the cast. They didn't like it. And supposedly they got 150 extra each for a slime. And then they said water. If someone said water came down. So they got like $75 for that. That's what, if I remember correctly. And then, so they had, only remember a few people. But the kids on there, someone was cool. Abby was the adult, and Les. They were the only two adults. But the kids, Vanessa, that was Moose. No, Vanessa. Moose was Christine. Vanessa was cool. Moose was Christine. That was her nickname, Moose. Brody was like the only black person. Now, they had Karen and like 3 others.
Randy, which would you rather be, black, white, or Indian?
I don't know, Angie. I never really thought about it. Being Indian's pretty good. I guess I like being Indian.
And I like being black. Being black or being Indian are both good.
Yeah. Must be a real bummer to be white.
Yeah, so gosh.
I know.
Lisa Ruddy. I remember Lisa Ruddy. She was there from the beginning to the end of the show. And her nickname was Motormouth. Then you had Adam. My favorite was Alistair. He was the best. Alanis Morissette, she was a cast member, but then nobody know Alanis Morissette was Alanis Morissette, so it wasn't like a big deal then. But she was on the show.
Now that you're going to be a rock star, we won't be seeing much of you, and I had just begun to think that you and I might hit it off after all.
Really, Alanis? Are you serious?
Yeah, I had just begun liking you, but now you'll be away on tour most of the year.
Well, hey, I can't tour alone, right, guys? I mean, I need a band. We can form a band.
That's a great idea.
Oh, right.
I mean,
That's
we can all be in it. Okay, what do we call it?
Beats me.
No, I don't really like the sound of that. Adam, you have any ideas? I'm thinking. No, Adam, that's too intellectual. Alanis, you must have a good idea.
I don't know. Alistair, you did that on purpose. Now I will hate you.
No, Alanis, no, really, it didn't have anything to do with me. I just forgot to tell you that on this show you can't say, I don't know, or you'll get slimed.
Wait a minute, I've got a great idea. Why don't we call our group the Green Slimes? Put it there, buddy.
Swell. You okay?
Then at the end of the show, they'd have a you can't do that on television is a something production. And it was always a joke. Like if the episode was about divorce, it'd say you can't do that on television is a split down the middle production. And then the announcer would say something about the producers, not realizing he was still on camera or the mic was hot. But nah, you can't do that on television was funny. Nickelodeon at one point between that show and Double Dare. This is before those other crazy shows that people like. But between those two joints on Nickelodeon and Remote Control or MTV, that's all you needed after school. But I just wanted to do a quick show. You can't do it on television. If people have memories of it, tweet them. Let's talk about it. But that's all I got. In the meantime, in between time, I don't know.
Christine,
Appreciate it.
what is the big holiday in April that we celebrate what used to be the Roman New Year?
I don't... you almost caught me. Forget it, Ross.
Oh, no. Seeing as the show is about holidays, you get a holiday from being slimed.
No slime?
No slime.
Okay, Ross, what was that question again?
What is the big holiday in April that we celebrate what used to be the Roman New Year?
I don't know. What is it?
April Fool's Day.
And with your wrinkled pussy, I can't be your lover.